I've been a Southerner all my life, and I can vouch for the fact that we do eat a lot of things down here. But God as my witness, we have never, I repeat, never eaten dirt.
I eat white dirt every day. So I can eat a pound of dirt, which is, imagine 4 or 5 big blocks of this a day. I just started eating it, and never stopped.
It's an unremarkable taste to me, but to some women, it is like the most delightful thing they can think of.
White dirt, like my friend like it.
My family has been between the Atlanta area and the Augusta area for the past 200 years. And all of my life I have heard of white mud, white dirt.
I was bad about the white dirt. I would come here in rages. If they didn't have it, I would cry.
To me, it seems like if you were craving nutritional supplements, that this would be one of the worst things that you could eat.
It's not you're going to be introduced to a secret society of dirt eaters. You know, where everybody wears a mask and lifts it up and eats a spoonful of dirt. I mean, it's not like that.
They buy a lot of this white dirt. They might come by like 7, 8 bags a day.
Geologists don't eat things, but they do taste test. You know, they'll.
And when I get up at 6 in the morning, I gets me a piece of white dirt and my Coca-Cola.
That's your breakfast?
That's my breakfast. Okay, my name is Tammy Wright. And I'm Tatiana Chester. I'm 18. And I'm 37. For me, a good day is a bag of white dirt and a Coca-Cola. Now, I eat, you know, but then it doesn't really do any good because after I eat, I'm ready for a piece of white dirt. You know, if I smoke a cigarette, I'm ready for a piece of white dirt. You know, I get up in the morning to get my kids off of school, I gotta have a piece of white dirt. And like I said last night, I don't know whether I was nervous about this. I ate white dirt all last night. I woke up 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning throwing pieces in my mouth. I mean, I had a whole bag for y'all to see. And this is all I had when y'all got here today. And I was chopping on this like, will they please get here? You know, that's my thing. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
My mom and them would go down to Devereaux and they would buy by the chunks and then divide it up and then sell it in the neighborhood, you know, from the home, you know. And we ate it as children. We used it as whitewash, as a paint for the hearth in our homes. I mean, and it tasted pretty good. But we didn't know the detriment to our health that it was doing. And a lot of people still buy it. Or you got your white dirt dealers in the black communities and everything. So it's still being sold. Yes, it is.
I'm Joel McRae. I am the official Greene County historian. I am the owner and the operator of the Greensboro Florist, and I've been in Greene County most of my life. My grandmother used to say she had a lady who worked for her who did our ironing, laundry, and Grandma said she would have to buy her a bag of white dirt and a box of starch because she wouldn't do the laundry unless she had white mud to eat while she was ironing.
People eat it, you know, because it's old culture. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember my auntie, and she's passed away now. She would have been like 60-something. I remember her eating it with coffee, you know. So it's sort of, and I always wondered, like, what other country eat it?
I was doing research on maternal anemia, so that's anemia during pregnancy, in the archipelago of Zanzibar. So that's just a bunch of islands off the coast of Tanzania. And I was talking with women about what they liked to eat and what they didn't like to eat when they were pregnant. And one woman, Mama Sharifa, we were sitting in the sort of baked dirt of her backyard, and she said, well, every day, twice a day, I take earth from the wall of my house and I eat it. And I looked at her, I looked at my research assistant, my Swahili isn't that good, and I said, did I understand what she said? Did she say she eats earth from her well? They both nodded at me, and Mama Sharifa offered me a taste of earth, and I tasted it myself, and from that I was fascinated.
My name is Paul Schroeder. I'm a professor of geology here at the University of Georgia in the Department of Geology. I've been here, I'd say about 22, 23 years. So the geophagy, the consumption of kaolin and clays, has been long recorded in human history, and the reason why does that happen, and what happens when you do that, that's currently actually on the cutting edge of medical health and research right now as we speak.
I eat it every day. As my neighbors, they'll see me with a white mouth. Walking down, everybody knows I eat it. When I go to the store, people be saying, oh, you got that bag of white dirt, don't you? Because they think that's all I go down to the store for, which it is.
My name is Crystal Malone, and we are at Piggly Wiggly on River Road. I used to come here all the time to purchase white dirt because I had a bad craving for it. I still do at times, especially when I was pregnant. I don't know what caused the cravings. They call it what, pica, something like that during pregnancy.
Pica is an umbrella term for non-food cravings. And there are sort of a few specific types of non-food cravings that have been named by the scientific community. So geophagy is the most obvious one. Geo meaning earth, and phage coming from Greek for to eat. Amylophagy is another very common type of pica, and that refers to the consumption of raw starches. And then pagophagy is the sort of third named pica flavor, and that refers to people who consume large quantities of ice. Now, I'm not talking about like a cup full of ice in your Coke. I'm talking about party bags full of ice, and very, very particular types of ice. Pica actually comes from the genus and species for magpie. A magpie, Linnaeus called it pica. And pica, magpies, are thought to have indiscriminate appetites because they're frequently seen with very bright and shiny things in their mouth, and a long time ago we thought that they ate those things. In fact, they build their nest with those things. And in the same way that they are thought to be birds with indiscriminate appetites, this name, pica, was given to people who had these cravings. The reality is people are very specific in what it is that they like to eat. They have very particular tastes for earth or certain ice or certain chalk.
You gotta come on!
So this is the store where you can buy everything from your basic snacks to your groceries to even clothing. But here he sells the kind of white dirt that's either gritty or that's either like really soft, and you can buy it for like $1.39 to $1.59 a bag. And he has it right there by the counter, so you can get. He doesn't have it behind the counter like some other convenience stores do. A lot of people eat it because the white dirt man comes down to the store. I get it, I know because I eat. And the white dirt man comes when I say like every couple weeks, and the box be empty.
So a lot of folks are eating it.
Yeah, somebody got to be eating.
There's a big market for it. Maybe we need to start selling it along with the flowers.
No, or.
Here at the Sweet Auburn Curb Market. We are the oldest public market in Atlanta, Georgia. We've been in continuous operation since 1924. So I've been at the market for about 7 months now, and I sit at the front desk and take a lot of calls, and people call a lot to ask about what we have here at the market. So I got a lot of questions about beef hoof, which I didn't know that people use that in their cooking, pig ears, which people make sandwiches out of apparently. And then I started getting some calls about white dirt. And we have about 3 vendors that sell white dirt.
Hey baby, how you been doing? It's good to see you. Hey, ain't seen you in a minute. My biggest seller is my greens. They cut up real fine. And my next biggest seller is white dirt. My white dirt. It's really ain't no substitute for it. We just eat it because we crave for women's, really especially for women's. We like it a lot. When Bill Clinton came here, it shocked me because they kept saying Bill Clinton, but when he came to the stand and bought some fruits, it was lovely. It was lovely.
This is this white dog. She said that this eating inside the cream, this cream is very good. My customer, 80% woman eating this one. I think so. This one men don't like it. This is just eating.
I've always been curious as to what it really tasted like. I've always tried to get up enough nerve to try it, but I never have.
It's not so much how it tastes, but how it feels in your mouth. It's a very drying feeling, kind of like tanniny, like the tannins after tea. It's sort of astringent.
They come in big chunks, so I would crush it up, and I would eat it with a spoon. And I didn't like to eat it after it rained because it would make it like kind of muggy like. And I would wait till like sunny days like this to be very dry. I would put it out in a dry place so it can dry out, and it would be so delicious.
I keep it in the bag, like the brown bag. I go home and crunch it up, probably hit it with a hammer, and let it sit and let it dry for a couple of days. But if it's wet, I might just put it in the microwave and dry it off. You know, so I don't like it wet because it's creamy.
So what I do is I bite it. I like to get it in pieces in my hand. I know it's strange, but not that. I like to eat it in little pieces. And then I take it. And it here crunching. And then I wanted to, I gotta look up what it is called. It's not called white dirt, they call it what, kaolin?
Kaolin.
I gotta look that up. But it be so good.
You know, what is kaolin? Kaolin is it's a mineral made up of aluminum, silica, oxygen, and hydrogen. The term kaolin is derived from a Chinese province or region, kaolin, and kaolin is also known as China clay often, and so it dates back to very ancient times where its first sort of high-tech use as a material for humans was in the production of porcelain. Here in Georgia, this is what's mostly commonly mined as this white material, sometimes white dirt as it's referred to. And it's white simply because it has no color. The particles in here are maybe 1/10 of the size of the width of a human hair. So because the particles are so fine and because light is for the most part white, they just scatter the white light back to us. So that's why it's white.
Detroit, Michigan, they eat white dirt. I've been to Florida, they eat white dirt. You know what I'm saying? I have been places where I asked, like, where's the white dirt places? And believe me, it's quite, people know what white dirt is. You feel what I'm saying? They eat it. I'd have been in a little country, like Augusta, Georgia, little stores, white dirt. Madison, Georgia, like white dirt. You know what I'm saying? I know what store to go in, wherever city I am. I know what store to go in and find me a bag of white dirt. You feel what I'm saying? I'll be like, that store got some white dirt right there. But one place I haven't tried and I really want to is a real chalk mine.
Why is all the kaolin in Georgia? Why isn't it in, New York, or why isn't it in, Minnesota or wherever, right? So And that has to do with geology and sort of the geologic evolution of the Earth's surface.
About 200 million years ago, this was the coastline right here. That is, all of this area was underwater. What actually happened was, Africa actually collided with North America, and the line, the collision line was right on the fall line here. Then when that continent broke up, that supercontinent, this area was a shallow sea, and so eroded sediments were deposited all along this region that we call the fall line. Georgia kaolin is close to the surface, so it's easy to get to. It's very pure. The biggest area is right in Washington County.
I live here because my family's lived here for the last 200 plus years. I happen to like living here. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I spent the last 2 days in Atlanta, and I think that anybody who lives in Atlanta and actually thinks that it's an enjoyable place to live needs to have a psychiatric examination. It's a dreadful, dreadful lifestyle. Zanzibar is one of the few counties in the state that doesn't have an agricultural program. And Georgia was, for much of the 20th century, an agricultural state. Still is outside of Atlanta. And the reason we gave up agriculture was because of the kaolin industry. We made so much money from the kaolin industry. Were it not for the kaolin industry, Zanzibar would be another small town.
You know, I always heard my older friends say that eating white dirt would run up your blood pressure. And then, of course, I always heard too that it would make you very, very constipated.
So when it gets to the question about nutritional value of kaolin, maybe there is zero nutritional value to kaolin. Okay. However, that's not to say that it may have, and it's actually known to have beneficial health effects as well as deleterious health effects. It can work both ways. It's used commonly in pharmaceuticals. Of course, probably most people are most familiar with kaopectate.
It may be a little bizarre to eat what you consider dirt, but it's probably, in the general scheme of things, no more bizarre than taking the bark of a willow tree, boiling it and drinking it, which in essence is aspirin.
I guess you just get addicted to it, you can't stop. My little friend way back then, she used to have a little bag like that. And everybody wonder why I ain't calling her name, she be eating white dirt, you know. Eating white dirt all day. I said, do you ever eating the food?
If I don't eat white dirt, I'll blow up to 200 plus pounds. I have pictures in there. This is before the white dirt.
Come on.
200 plus pounds. You can tell all in my face and everything, you know.
I went to the doctor on Halloween and found out I was anemic. I wasn't anemic, you know, until I started eating the white dirt. But It's just a craving I have for it. I try to stop, and then it's like it's just calling me.
It's kind of dangerous to eat because I know the last baby I had to have a blood transfusion. And then I know like your iron level was supposed to be like 13, and the doctor told me mine was at 5. It was something scary because when I visited her in the hospital, like her face was just so swollen. It was just like, it was something I never seen before. And she lost like, how many liters of blood did you lose? Yeah, they said, you know how those 2 liters, those things they give you IVs, with IV stuff in, 2 liters of those. It was something. These are the pills that they gave me, ain't they big? So, you know, and they be wanting me to take them. I have not yet taken them. And I think too, that's a vain thing, the reason I haven't taken them, because they also say if I take them, they're gonna make me gain weight. So that's another reason I think I haven't took them, you know. But they're some big old pills, though. They look like pinto beans.
Geophagy, and specifically in pica in general, have been quite demonized by the medical community. And there are lots of good reasons for being worried about people eating this stuff. I mean, on top of the anemia, some of these substances are just outright harmful. I mean, sometimes this earth has lead in it. And then there's these sort of extreme cases with impaction of the gut where people eat so much clay that nothing can really move through their intestines anymore. It's obviously very dangerous.
A guy that stays up there, his 28-year-old daughter just died 8 months ago from eating white dirt. She was 28 years old.
How so? How did it cause?
She was blood. I think her blood. It was something about her blood. She had weighted too low, and they tried to give a blood transfusion and everything. I haven't got all the details yet, but I know every time he sees me, he tells me, he was like, "Please stop eating that white dirt because my daughter." And as a matter of fact, that guy right there, his cousin Tandy, she was telling me that she used to eat it so much, and when she finally felt the effect of her legs collapsed from under her.
The problem is, if you look at the analysis of this rock, this material, it doesn't have very much of anything in it. I mean, the content of any sort of nutritional component looks to me very low.
Like I said, the addiction is so bad that you're just willing to eat it. You know, we all love stuff that's not good for us. And if you put on a thing not for human consumption, then people gonna eat it. That's gonna make them wanna eat it more, you feel me?
So we've observed reports of geophagy happening on every inhabited continent, in almost every country, and across time. So we have evidence from the last 2,000 years that people have been eating this stuff. But there are some people who are more likely to eat it than others, and the sort of number one suspect is pregnant women. There are a number of studies of the prevalence of this behavior in which 50% of pregnant women, even more sometimes, are eating this. What I've been trying to do in my studies of pica for the last 10 years is to take pica out of the emergency room by looking at it across time, across regions, across races, and across species. What we see is just this really consistent picture of pica, which all suggests that it should not be dismissed or outright damned.
It's kind of embarrassing because you see the way it leaves my mouth? And this is how my mouth is all the time. That's everybody right here. So, you know, I'm constantly like want to go places, and I try to take me a piece, but I can't eat it if I'm trying to take care of business or something because it leaves my mouth like this. I'm constantly, you know, and by I eat it so much, it seems like my corners stay white. You know, so I'm always doing like this or something like that. I mean, it's guilty on you, feel, because it gets all over your hand, it gets all over your mouth. It's real. It's messy, but it's good. I can't explain it.